Hello, welcome to Pike Creek Farm. And today, it's late, but I'm gonna do a Friendship Friday video. And I'm gonna make rhubarb bread because it's rhubarb season and we love rhubarb. So I did do a sample run of this about 3 weeks ago, and it makes 2 loaves, and I put 1 loaf in the freezer and it came right back out. She made it right away, so it's a good recipe. And if you don't have Friendship Starter, I would just use some buttermilk in place of that amount, or sour cream. Either of those things would work well too. So don't not make the recipe because you don't have the Friendship Starter. There's workarounds. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping in. My name is Renee and I live in the thumb of Michigan, and I like to can and cook and bake, and I love vintage recipes, and I just love to share our little slice of life here in the thumb of Michigan. So thank you so much for joining me. And if you're not a subscriber, I would love to have you here. So we're gonna get started on making rhubarb bread. And you can make this in mini loaves if you want, which is perfect for gift giving. You can do the regular loaves and throw one in the freezer like I did. Maybe it'll last longer in your freezer than it did mine. But anyway, it's nice when Jim says, anything sweet in the house, I can just pull it out of the freezer. So that is the one nice thing I like about these recipes for the Friendship Bread Starter. It makes 2 loaves, so into the freezer. So let me get everything organized and I'll bring it down and we'll mix it together. That's the other thing I like about these recipes. They're fast, really fast. And I need to use some of this rhubarb, so this is perfect. So here's some of the rhubarb I picked this morning. Oh, there's still part of a leaf. You don't use the leaves. The leaves are garbage. They're poisonous, actually. There's something in them, so I chop the leaves off right out in the garden and use them to go around the plants, and they mulch on down and everything stays right there. And you twist and pull your rhubarb, so then the end looks like this. So I'm gonna wash these and cut this end off, and I need 1.5 cups of diced up, just sliced up rhubarb. So I'm gonna get that going, but I did wanna show you some of the rhubarb. And my rhubarb isn't real red rhubarb. Some is redder than others. And you can see it's not red all the way through. But it all tastes the same. It doesn't matter what color your rhubarb is. There's just different varieties, but the taste is the same. So don't worry about that. Something else, if you're not familiar with rhubarb, you see how it's nice and smooth. It's not holy, it's not woody looking, it's not dry looking. That's what you want. That is what's good for rhubarb. If it gets holy, like if it gets real dry, end of the season or something, and it's holy, it's woody, then it's not tender, it won't be as good. So I'm just gonna chop this up in little pieces, not real fine or anything. You don't want to peel the rhubarb. Oh, that one has to get washed again. But this is about the size I will do. If you want it smaller, you can go through it again. Okay, so now this is going to be really quick to put together now. First, we need 1 cup of starter. And I just fed this starter. Like I said, if you don't have any Friendship Starter, I would use 1 cup of buttermilk, 1 cup of sour cream. Either of those would work out great too. I wouldn't let it stop me from making this. Now we need to add 3 eggs. Go. I'm going to use my Danish whisk. I like using this for making quick breads. Need a 1/4 cup of milk. Half a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm sure I put more than that. One cup of sugar. Cup of oil. You can add walnuts or pecans to this recipe. I never do. We like it the way it is, without the crunch, I guess. When you add this oil, it is a little weird. The oil doesn't blend in really well until you start putting the dry ingredients. And that's where we're at now. It calls for 1 package of vanilla pudding. You don't have to use it, but it really does enhance the flavor, and it also makes it a nice moist cake. It does make it a very nice and moist bread. I almost said cake. It's like a cake, you know, but it's not cake. Now we add 2 cups of flour. Half, 1, half, 2. We also need 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. Half a teaspoon of baking soda, and also of salt. And that is everything except the rhubarb and the nuts if you want to add them. So I just mix everything and then fold in the add-ins at the end. And this is a quick bread recipe, so you want everything combined, but it's okay if there's some lumps in it, just like how pancakes are. So here's the rhubarb. And we're going to fold that in. I like making quick breads because you don't have to get a mixer out, or everything's in one bowl. So now we're going to divide this batter between the 2 bread pans. So now we're going to take sugar, and if you have like the turbinado, I think it's called, sugar, the real coarse stuff, you can use that. I don't have it. I just use regular sugar and sprinkle across the top. It makes it all crunchy and delicious after it bakes. So these are going to go into the oven for 1 hour until the toothpick comes out clean. Here they are out of the oven. Toothpick came out clean. So I'll wait a few minutes and take them out of these and put them on a rack to cool. Here is the bread. I remembered that last time I did sprinkle cinnamon sugar inside the bread pan, and I wish I had done that because it adds a nice little crunch on the outside. But you can see the pockets of rhubarb. So I will cut some when it cools and show you what it looks like. So this is what's left 24 hours later. And I didn't put the cinnamon sugar on the outside this time, and I do like it with it. I totally forgot I did that. But it's a very soft bread with pockets of rhubarb, the crunchy top, and Jim has thoroughly enjoyed it. So let me slice a piece. So here it is. It's good. I do like the cinnamon on the outside though. So if you like rhubarb, you're looking for a rhubarb bread recipe, this is a really good one. So I'm gonna go have my snack before it's all gone and I don't get any of it before Jim eats it all. I did put 1 loaf in the freezer. I'll have the recipe link down below and how I altered it. And thank you so much for watching. See you next time at Pike Creek Farm.